You made it. Welcome back, you BEA beautiful souls. Today's video, we're going to do some reactions to Faraam's new video. I've played a little bit of Virtuosa, and I don't have an opinion yet, so I'm going to watch a YouTuber's opinion and take that as my opinion, as most YouTube viewers do so. So let's go ahead and watch it. Apparently, Virtuosa is quite possibly OP according to Faraam. His new video here, check him out if you guys haven't seen him. Faraam is one of the, he's been posting a lot more ganking videos. He's trying to go tourney serious style, but before you guys know, he's one of the OG solo queue for honor anti-gank gods. Great player and a really good friend as well. So his video right here, 3,000 players, he made a post or whatever about how strong, what people think about the character. So let's just check it here. I mean, I think it'll talk about it in the video, but I just wanted to do a reaction and see what he thought. And it looks like, I mean, I'll just do like strong, I guess, because I know she is strong. I played her already in early access. So a lot of people think that, she's a little bit strong, which is good. You want your characters to be strong. But with that auto dodge mechanic, it's quite an interesting discussion. So let's see what Faraam has to say about it, and I'll react and pause according to, if there's anything interesting that comes up. So let's watch it.
Welcome everyone to my presentation. Is Virtuosa OP? Alright, maybe you saw it on the thumbnail, but over 3,000 people voted for that. Like I asked,
correct.
I asked on my channel,
Faraam.
on my Twitter.
Is it Faraam? Faraam or Faraam?
Is Virtuosa OP? And over 3,170.
Okay, let's skip this part. Let's get to this. Let's get to the discussion, Faraam. What do you think about
on the poll? I love
Virtuosa?
Have kiss for that.
Let's see what he thinks.
So, first of all,
and this is my lazy way of making a video.
Back. I'm pretty sure Ubisoft is already aware of.
I'm way too busy playing the worst game, Killing Floor 3. Let me know if you guys have been playing that. It's a pretty horrible game. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it's the only good horde shooter right now besides Darktide that I need to grind on. So don't buy that game for full price. Back to the video.
That's why it's on the first slide.
Okay, yeah, I heard about this. This
every
is
time
cancer. It's like
when
warmonger.
it attacks you in your stance, you can activate repost. So
oh
when
my
it attacks
god!
me, I repost.
Oh my goodness!
And it is ridiculous.
Nightmarish.
It works also with friendly fire.
Yeah, that's what I saw too.
Means if I have a teammate behind me and he team attacks me and I dodge his attack, I can trigger repost, guys. In my opinion, this is a bug. I'm pretty sure Ubisoft will fix this in no time.
Yeah, it'll probably take a week or 2 weeks.
Next slide.
Maybe a month. Maybe 3 years.
And a really, really juicy one, in my opinion.
Okay.
Bash
insane
range
reach
is insane.
Sheesh. I think the you're gonna dodge forward though.
Insane, guys.
I think she dodged forward.
Like you see.
Wait, no, maybe she didn't. That is it's also on a hill too, mind you.
In advance.
Hills in For Honor are really jank. It will
to the point,
remove hitboxes. It will apparently add range.
Also, can you bash?
And it'll have some funky
team fights, ganks,
interactions. So yeah, that's obviously way too strong.
This can be also abused in a very
ridiculously strong.
Yeah.
Holy smokes!
I showed this to you. I showed this in the next slide.
I'd hate to fight that, honestly.
No.
That's 4 stacks of them.
Range
no,
180. What is that? Well, so you know already.
This is just a target swap. Yeah, that's just a target swap. I mean, the range right there, it's pretty self-explanatory. Pretty self-explanatory. A lot of high-level players or people who know about this move will try to do it because the animation is going to be a lot more tricky for players to notice. But usually, if you ever see someone dodge, you should always just early dodge or preemptively dodge, because in an anti-gank situation like that, or when you're ganking someone, you know that they're going to try to get out of there or try to kill someone who's really low HP. So in that situation, Kyoshins who's standing in full block, they deserve that. But, that range is a little bit too good. Janu kind of has really good range too, but not to this extent.
A lot of heroes can do that. JJ can do that. Briar can do that.
Black Pirates is not as good though, the range.
But no one is as good. Like, I don't know, Virtuosa is
I'm trying to find the words for it.
Because of the bash range.
Okay, alright, that's good.
Talk about the solution later. So, what else?
Unblockable range is busted.
Unblockable range is busted.
It does have really good reach, though. Really good reach.
Well,
it's extraordinary.
Every time when you go into that stance, happens way too often. Also in teamfights, guys. Like here,
Okay.
I'm in trouble. Like I cannot judge my friend here, my friendly, my
Right,
teammate,
you're random.
how he performs.
Correct.
In this case,
Always
I just
assume
stay
they
back
are
in my stance,
employed
like,
gamers.
hell man, what is fear supposed to do here?
Always assume.
So, and I wait. I wait.
Don't tell me he's gonna hit him
wait
from that
for
distance. I mean, I've
opportunity
hit
to
some people.
strike, and
Yeah,
you
that's
see
so
the
freaking
range
strong.
is absurd. It's
So strong.
almost ridiculous.
That's like
It's the
forward
old
dodge pirate.
Pirate.
Forward
problem.
dodge pirate already
Like,
has
you
that from
can
neutral, but
basically
pirate
stay in the same
doesn't have the
position
iframes
like
when she
Pirate in the
is,
past.
you know,
Like Pirate
potentially
have,
getting looked at.
Would throw a ridiculous forward unblockable pin, and because he's so far away, and he has basically of course dodge recoveries. It was so safe.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
so
deadly.
true. Yeah, Faraam was talking about Pirate's chain unblockable, her finisher, her skewer. This also pertains to her forward dodge, Cavalier dance. This is also really strong. The reason why Pirate is also really strong too is because that move has hyper armor, and it kind of acts as pseudo defense for someone who is trying to anti-gank you, right? So Virtuosa, she's in that ganking stance. That's a ganking stance and an anti-ganking stance, a stall stance, whatever you want to call it. So essentially, you can't do anything to her, and then you also have to respect her. Same thing for Pyro. When Pyro does her forward dodge unblockable, that is hyper armor, and it is very hard to GB her from neutral. You will bounce off. And it doesn't matter what you do, you will get hit by this and get into the gank situation and get cooked. So it's 16 damage with pistol blast hit stun. So the enemy has plenty of time. You can also delay it, plenty of time to throw a heavy, and then guarantee a nasty gank. And when it comes to this character, she has very far-reaching unblockables, just like Pirate, and essentially, you know how Pirate has a dodge cancel? She can dodge cancel out of it when she does land it. Before, she just used to be able to do it all the time. This also pertains to her Chain Heavy, which also has a very big reach, but it has hyper armor, but it doesn't have the unblockable stance. But this character does, and then she can also go into her stance after on hit. So pretty insane.
The unblockable range is just ridiculous. A lot of people complain about that.
It's pretty good range.
Yeah,
it's very good range. Might be one of the best.
So,
next to
problem
Jane
number
June's.
3.
Jane June also has
post
ridiculous
checkmate.
range.
What is that? What is the post checkmate? Oh, well, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's an old problem actually.
I think this
It's a
pertains
very
to
old problem.
ganking situations.
When you have two heroes
Good
with
parry.
full blocks or whatever stances, you are you're in a big trouble.
That's so true.
Because
There's nothing you can do.
is wrong. So I can show you again.
Yeah.
Like here
makes
we
a lot of
finished
sense.
off Wamonga and Opa. Oh no, you tap back.
Faraam, what are you
No,
cooking?
no.
Oh, it's his old man jeans coming up.
Let's scroll forward. Okay,
Unk.
I'm sorry.
Come on, Unk.
So.
Learn how to use a computer.
Everything Tutorial is doing, like every move he throws, it's a wrong move. He tags us, it's a wrong move. He gets punished. He tags us with heavy, obviously that's very
Oh
wrong.
god, that
Now,
is so cancer.
starts the
That's why
GBS,
I'm
also
not
wrong.
playing
There's
for like a
no
week.
counterplay to this situation because of multiple reasons. That's problem number 4 or 5. I don't know, but I will show you solutions at the end of the presentation. Right? These are the major problems.
Okay, so for this situation, post checkmate, this essentially pertains to you, for whatever reason, going into a point 1v2. That should be 99% of the time a loss. You should never, ever, ever, ever do that unless you know for sure you're fighting like really bad players or players who don't know about revenge tags. But people who do know about revenge tags, then it's you should lose 9 times out of 10. And in this situation where there's the new character, you don't understand the new mechanics, and there's a lot of bad players on your team. Centurion coming in here, that is to avoid this mistake and this checkmate. You don't go to that point. You wait for your team. So For Honor's designed at the moment where ganking is incredibly strong. They also have started to roll out some anti-ganking or the reworks on testing grounds, which happened a couple of months ago where they tried to adjust revenge and ganks. But realistically, you will lose when you get into a 1v2 situation. So you're not, I don't think they should necessarily buff this to a huge degree, because if they strictly want this to be a team oriented game, then you shouldn't ever really be able to 1v2 consistently, unless you're fighting really bad players. If you're fighting against like Faraam and his stack, then you should never do this unless you're picking like a really good character like Black Prior, Shinobi, Pirate, those characters, Jing even, that have very good stall mechanics and iframes. Centurion should never come in here in 1v2. He will most likely die, especially against new characters. Unless you are a parry god, you feint, and they think that maybe perhaps if they're not paying attention, which I wouldn't be either if I was playing the new character, because whatever you do is just going to work. Just mindless spam. If they think that, you know, maybe you did a automatic auto dodge in your pose or your stance, then Centurion could bait it out and go for a parry or something. But the thing is that when you guard break, there's no other options for you to do besides a throw, light, zone, or heavy attack. And at that moment, you're vulnerable. Same thing for Kaze's stance as well with Kyoshin. Fujin Cuts is just going to cut you right up, even if you get guard broken, or the other teammate is going to peel for you who is in the full block mechanic.
People pointed out.
Yeah, so I think guard breaks do need to change.
And I totally agree with them. Overall, I think Virtuosa is a balance.
You shouldn't buff 1v2ing, but you should buff mechanics like guard breaks, so you have a little bit more defense.
Hell, man. It's a problem. Alright, guys. So, how to fix the problems? Fix the minion and friendly fire bug. It's a no-brainer. No one will complain about that.
I agree.
Reduce.
That's the warmonger.
Or adjust the range of bash, like
one,
you saw how ridiculous.
Why didn't they test this? I mean, in early access, we had gotten information about that, but I'm just surprised why they didn't fix that bug and they released it in that state still. I feel like that would be the #1 bug to fix. Am I wrong here? That should be priority #1, in my opinion. I don't know, because that seems like a warmonger. If you guys weren't there for warmonger on her launch, her corruption affected minions. So if you were nearby your friendly minions, you would automatically die. You could not contest the mid lane. It was absolutely cancer in the purest form. Gave me deep vein thrombosis.
The bash, and you can abuse that.
And I have dermatitis all over my skin because of that corruption.
180 bash, press people. It's ridiculous. No one has that kind of range of an unblockable for bash. And yeah, same.
I would say Shinobi does. Shinobi has very good range on the bash. But that's because Shinobi needs nerfs as well. Shinobi, Janhu, Jangjun have very good ranges for the tar swap bashes and the bashes in general. But you know, those characters are anomaly because they also have pins for their kicks and for their bashes. So that's why those characters are freaking strong. They're not as good as what we saw there, at least from what I believe. But Shinobi's is, though. I will 100% guarantee say that Shinobi's is good because he can do a forward. He can do double dodges. So that already automatically counts as reaching that far. And of course, he also has a pin that can have a ton of hits done to ledge people. So it's super strong.
The unblockable, the range with the unblockable in combination with her pose or stance is just too good. It's crazy. It's OP.
Oh, fairness is OP.
In 1v1,
yes.
No problem. This won't happen. But in Dominion, we have to consider so many things, and this is one of these things, like range, positioning, the options you have to do when you're outnumbering someone, when you're outnumbered, a fair fight, and yeah, like in a gang situation, range combined with the unblockable, there's no way you can.
Yeah, that makes sense. Faram's repeating basically what he said before.
You have to automatically be aware of the long range unblockable.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's move on to what it says about this.
We had stamina train on poses. For example, Shaolin had it, but they removed that because it was not that effective. But right now, with Virtuosa, we have one of the most effective, or let's say not one of the most effective, we have one of the most safest stances in the game. And to avoid babysit,
I can agree with that.
or to stay forever in this stance, make Virtuosa lose slowly the stamina. So in this case, she can stay like maybe 3 or 4 seconds in that stance, and then she has to cancel it to recover some stamina. Right now, we have only a stamina pause, but that doesn't stop her to stay in this stance, right? So in this case, introduce maybe stamina train, or the option I prefer is every time when Ubisoft is presenting us a new hero, in this case Virtuosa, they always introduce a new hero with a catch, with a new mechanic. The old mechanics, they never get a rework or an update. In this case, I already complained about that about Kyoshin when he came out. Like everyone's playing Kyoshin. What are you supposed to do? You being a Kyoshin in an anti-gag situation? Well, I guess I eat the Fujin cuts of the second Kyoshin. So in this case,
yeah, you just die.
Every time when you GB someone, you should have more options. Right now, we only have the option to throw a light attack, a heavy attack, zone. But we cannot dodge, we cannot use full block, and so on. And I really hope Ubisoft watch this presentation and see, oh yeah, we might update some core mechanics like GB, revenge tags, and so on, to to keep up with new mechanics.
Okay, so let's talk about his suggestion for pose drain stamina. So yeah, beforehand, if you guys didn't play before, I think it was about 2 years ago where they made it so that full blocks actually gain stamina back, but before it would start draining stamina, so you wouldn't be able to hold full block forever. And that made it so that full blocks had to be timed. Same thing for Kyoshins and Warlords and Conquerors. Those ones had to deal with that before and for a very long time. So they had to, essentially be careful and time their full blocks instead of just holding it the entire time in 4v4. You've seen Warlords and Kyoshin just sit at your face, and there's literally nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is if you pick a good character, a strong character like Shinobi, Orochi, those characters, or even BP, there are defensive mechanics you can do that have decent risk and reward, such as BP. If you GB someone, a full block character like Kyoshin or Warlord, and the other teammate of theirs, the enemy, is going to try to attack you, what you can do is you can do light into a full block, which will flip everything. So that's why BP is so strong and safe. Same thing for Shinobi, you can light and then backflip, have iframes. Rochi, you can zone, you can light attack and dodge, cancel out of the way. Characters like Pirate or characters with hyper armor, you can light into hyper armor and target swap that to get some big damage on the person who decides to attack you. But if there's two full block characters, you should be screwed. There's really nothing you can do. The only thing you can do potentially is to maneuver around them and try to make it so that you aren't getting hit. So that's what you would do, and that's what I would do in those situations. And for those characters, this character specifically who has the unblockable that has a very good range, you have to try to get the heck out of there. Otherwise, you are going to be screwed. I think for Raider and characters with hyper armor, you can try to abuse that move, but be careful because she will have enough time to go into her stance. So that's something you have to watch out for. So you have to heavy feign into a parry. So that's the counterplay for that moment. So I do agree on bringing that back, or at least to a certain degree, where Faraam was saying that you only get maybe about 4 seconds, 3 seconds of staying in that stance. So it's not so abusable. That's completely fine, and I'm okay with that. But I want to refrain from putting too much suggestions, because the thing is that For Honor, they're making the game, like I said before, all the pins, all the ganks, all of those moves, all the 100-0 ganks that we get. You're not supposed to survive 1v2s. You're gonna die. what they need to do is buff team fights, and that's what buffing guard breaks is going to do tremendously. If you have the option of full block, light, dodge, all that good stuff.
All right, this is my approach for the post babysit. All right, yeah, what else? Yeah, a lot of people complain about the pose itself be the safest move in the game, safest stance in the game.
I would say it's fairly safe, yes.
I already mentioned it. I agree to that. I agree. And
I think it
what
is.
is the problem with that?
I think it is.
Right now, every time when she successfully counterattacks you, aka use a repost on you, damage is a little bit too high for that kind of risk. Like, it's 14 damage.
Mind you, it is 14 damage if you don't have your tier 3s. Now, this is without feats activated. So her tier 1 will automatically dodge everything except for guard breaks. And then her tier 3, I believe, you can either run tier 3, her default, or her second win. But I think the tier 3 is amazing because it also adds that defense debuff. So the 14 damage becomes 18, I believe, or 17. So that's a lot of damage from getting free stances. Like, a lot of damage. And then, of course, you go into your chain mix-up, and then you also get healed from your tier 2, a 10-second tier 2. That is freaking ridiculously strong. There is so much healing going on with this character and in the lobbies. And, of course, I'm not even going to mention her tier 4, which is actually busted. But there's a lot of healing iframes and defense debuffs going on here. So it's not just 14. In duels, it's 14, but in 4v4, it is a lot of damage because, one, it's a 4MS riposte attack, which is going to be the top one. And then, of course, she has the uninteractable 5MS chain bash. So this is one of the strongest full blocks. I think it is the strongest full block in the game.
And I think I'm always a huge fan when developer says high risk, high reward. Low risk, low reward.
Yeah.
In this case, they might, in my opinion, should reduce the damage by 1.
That's completely fair.
2 points.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, that's my approach. How to fix Virtuosa.
Okay, all right.
Reduce the
interesting
2P
take
section. No. And overall, like I said, I think she's a cool hero.
All right.
I have no problems with new mechanics.
That is interesting.
But in this, when you introduce new mechanics, make sure the old mechanics
don't like the video for my boy here.
To keep up with them.
So. All right, so that's Faraam's take here, and let me give you my takes on the character. I've only played I played like one session of her in Dominion, and honestly, I'm starting to change my approach on playing Faraam on the day 1 because it is absolutely atrocious. Because, one, there are going to be a bunch of new players. I've gotten tons of comments from my video right here. Appreciate all the love, everyone. But a lot of comments of people coming back to the video, which is fantastic, and coming back to the game because there's a rapier character finally added after 9 years. Thanks, JC. But what I'm trying to say is that a lot of people who are not as committed and don't know what's going on, they're gonna rage quit. They're not gonna know what's going on. They're gonna get frustrated on the new character because a lot of new mechanics have been added after 9 years, and maybe 5 years, and maybe 2 years. Things have changed. And so they're not going to know what's going on. A lot of characters are incredibly strong right now. A lot of characters have good offense, and your defense is not going to be as good unless you're picking certain characters and know how to punish and know the matchup knowledge. But essentially what that means is that there's going to be a lot of rage quits. There's going to be a lot of silly shenanigans here. A lot of silly shenanigans. I was just playing that in the background for you guys. But a lot of silly shenanigans. And what that means is that you're going to be stuck with bots the entire time. And of course, the servers are going to be absolutely dog shit. They're going to be dog shit. And you're going to be stuck with people farming the character, trying to get to rep 70, getting really high reps, and you're going to be stuck with random. So solo queue player, duo queue player, I would not recommend you play the game, and that's why I'm not really playing the game right now either. So I'm just kind of waiting, and maybe wait like a week or 2. I'll probably do some duels or something like that. I don't know. I think Faraam suggestions are good, and GBs should be reworked. We need that to be changed. The character's range is also incredibly strong too. I think her hitboxes aren't as amazing as other characters like the top tiers, Jane June, Shinobis, all those characters, even Orochi and Varangian. Her hitboxes aren't amazing when it comes to horizontal cleave, but for forward momentum, really strong. And the forward dodge probably get nerfed slightly. And then the forward momentum on her unblockable heavy should probably get nerfed as well. And then they also need to tone down I don't know, her feats on her tier 3, the ones where she gets that auto dodge, and then once you land that attack, it does that damage debuff. Very freaking strong. I'm not sure what they need to do about that. Maybe just change the feat entirely. What do you guys think about that? Don't know too much about that. Just want to give you my perspective on what Faraam thought. And Faraam does have a good take on that, honestly. I think the character is incredibly strong and safe. Even if you try to GB from team fights, GBing is very risky to do because you can potentially take damage. And even if you are able to get a punish or whatnot, maybe a light attack or a heavy attack, if you try to go for a heavy attack, you might get punished from someone who has a very big hitbox, you know? Medjai, Jang Jun throwing out heavy attacks. On the other side, that is tower swap, and your teammate can't do anything about it. He can't peel for it because the heavy startup already came. And so that's why GBs don't necessarily work all the time. It's a big risk that you'll have to take, and the Virtuoso has the offensive advantage at that point. She has that 4 MS top light that you have to respect. She has that 5 MS kick. She also has that hyper armor depending on which light she threw it from. So there's a lot of things going for her that you have to, respect and understand and have to pay attention to. If you're not paying attention to that character, you're not going to know what's going on. Same thing for people using her. I'm not saying she's not a high skill curve character, which she definitely is. And once you understand, how her mix-ups work and what you can abuse and what you can't abuse, then I think she is, she definitely is a unique character where she has a lot of fun tools, great animations and all that good stuff. But the thing is that it's going to be quite annoying to deal with in a non-single pick situation. And so that's the next point I want to talk about, is that they need to add single pick. They need to add a mode where if people don't want deep vein thrombosis, then please, pretty please, Ubisoft, add that mode. That would be freaking fantastic, because dealing with all those, oh man, all those unblockables, all those iframes, man, I think for a casual it is somewhat fun, but someone who is a little bit more seasoned and is sick of all that and wants to have a good experience, well, you're not gonna get that in the first week of For Honor. You really aren't, in my opinion. And I think this character is a good addition to the game, but there's always problems that will arise from it, and you have to understand that Ubisoft is just a simple, small indie company, okay, guys? What do you guys think? What do you guys think are her counters that I haven't figured out yet? Besides undodgeables, I forgot to talk about undodgeables, but there's certain characters that have neutral undodgeables that will mess her up, such as Warmonger. Shinobi has that chain finisher undodgeable, but I think it's a little bit, it can be utilized easily because it kind of acts from neutral because he's already in his chain pressure. He's always dodging around anyways, so that's going to catch her a lot. Tiandi is going to be a very good character. Warlord, all those characters that I just mentioned, Warlord, Shinobi, Nobushi, Tiandi, and Shinobi, those characters are already pretty meta. They are very strong characters in the game. Warlord, I don't want to say meta, but he's also a character that a lot of people don't know how to deal with because of his frame advantage, his enhanced lights, his hyper armor, and his high damage values. And his wall throw punishes and crushing counter. So that character and his full block, that character, I don't want to say he's meta, but he's incredibly strong because a lot of people just don't know how to fight him. And you have to respect a lot about what he does unless you're like a reaction god. So those characters already can do very well against her because they stop her neutral in a chain. But the problem with that is that you have to pick those characters now. You have to pick those characters. And so a lot of people aren't going to want to pick those characters. Some people just want to play Raider. Some people just want to play Kensei. Some people want to play characters that don't have undodgeables. And so that, let's turn this game to Overwatch. We should be able to change our characters in-game. That'd be so funny, honestly. You'd see so much counter-picking, it's not even funny. Some salty-ass counter-picks. People going to Shinobi or Jang Jun or Shaolin like right away. Shaolin would also be a pretty good counter to her as well. So, actually, she has crush counters in her stance. So if she expects someone to do the undodgeable, wait a second. I think the lights, like a light attack, like Tiani's forward dodge light or Warlord's 600 MS zone attack, that is going to be a good counter. But Nobushi and Warmonger throwing those heavies out, you can get a crushing counter, man. You can get a crushing counter you have crushing counters on your poses. So if you're good Virtuosa, that is gonna be free damage. Holy smokes, I can't wait to play more of her, honestly. All right, that's gonna be it for my video. What do you guys think about my takes and Faraam's? Let me know down in the comments. Hope you guys are somewhat avoiding fraud or not getting too cock and ball torture. Okay. All right, we don't want to get chemotherapy after a week of For Honor. All right, you guys have a wonderful week. Bye bye. See you later.